I want to get myself a job in this industry, which sometimes, for example, like a lawyer may take, it takes 7 years to study, and it might take another 2-3 years to get into the industry, depending on what type of law you're studying and whatnot. But yeah, it's something I feel strong about as well, that's whole small business type of side of things, because you really do, you're able to drive forward a lot harder when you feel a bit more pressure, whether it's your business or not, but it feels like it's your business.
So it's almost like the power of broke, where your back's against the wall, and you need to be resourceful with limited resources to come up with a solution. Yep. And maybe what we can do in the schools is take their lunches away from them and make them work for their food, and that'll teach them how the entrepreneurial mindset, because that's what it feels like on a daily basis for us, you know what I mean, for us business guys. Now, for me, I don't have much interaction with my staff, because I do sit on a bit of a higher level where, I'm a bit more strategic and more business to business. But I find that the way I keep my staff and my team motivated and full of energy is that I take a stand in what I do, and I believe in what I do, and I back myself in every single thing that I do. I'm not afraid to put myself out there. I don't care what other people think. I just wrote an article on saying, fuck what other people think. It's just, and that's the problem. Like, what happens is that people are too afraid to take a stand because they're worried about what other people think. And it's funny, like, people will wait to see how other people will react when, for example, someone new has opened up a business. They want to know how other people have reviewed it before they give a crack and let everyone know about their review, right? Because most people in this world, unfortunately, are sheep, and they just follow each other. Mm-hmm. And so what I do is I always constantly try and be the lion and, stand up for what I believe in, back myself. My team sees that, and that energy transfers down, and they get motivated by that as well, because they have a leader who's willing to put themselves out there and, put things at risk and not worry about what everyone else has to think. Because society tells us today we need to be a certain way. And what happens is that everyone just follows that certain way. And the great thing about the entrepreneurial mindset is that there are no rules. Fuck the rules. Do whatever you want. I mean, obviously don't break the law or don't hurt anyone along the way. But if that means that that's your point of difference, then go and fucking do it. Right? And that's how I motivate my team. My team are motivated by my passion to stand up for what I believe in, and I'll do whatever it takes to get to where I am. So Jade, you've got a great team. How do you recruit a great team? Because there's going to be people out here who lead a team, and I find that in this country, staff is one of the biggest issues, right? Because everyone has it so good in this country. It's the land of opportunity. So, we've gone through a lot of staff ourselves, and it takes forever to get the right team. How do you recruit the right people? Or is it training those particular people up and molding them towards how you want them to be?
Yep. So simple. The most simplest way is recruiting for will, not skill. I don't give a fuck what your qualifications are. Of course, if I need a legal qualification, then yes, I do need it. But I don't care how qualified you are, how skilled you are, how amazing you tell me you are. I want to see will, and I want to see that the motivation and the right attitude. I need an A attitude. Otherwise, it doesn't matter how skilled you are or how experienced you are. If you don't have those right behaviours and you can't drive change and drive innovation and drive a high-performing culture that I need you to drive, then it's not going to work, Teamwork makes the dream work at the end of the day, and I think that if you don't have what it takes as in mindset, if you don't have the growth mindset, if you're not willing to back yourself into a corner, if you're not willing to learn and grow as a leader yourself, then it's not going to work. And I'm not interested. I'm not that person that you should be joining for a job. That's just the way it is.
So it goes, we've all heard the saying, hard work trumps talent. all day long. It is all about the attitude, and it's not about how skilled you are, or or what or it's all about what value you can bring to the table after, rather than what you can bring right now, in terms of your experiences and all of that sort of thing.
Well, I work with a team at the moment, an executive team, and we're going through an immense amount of change, right? And I think, and people don't like it. They don't like it. They're up in arms about it. They're highly talented, highly experienced individuals, but the attitude's missing. And I think that's everything. And if they could only stand back and see what I see, that attitude is going to get us a long way in life. And the business is changing, the climate's changing out there, the environment in which we operate in is changing, and it goes the same for the salon. The team down there is such an incredible team with an incredible leader in that salon, and you find that when the leader levels up, the whole team levels up. And it's for me it's been such a proud moment, because I've transferred that inspiration onto the team, onto the leader down there, and I think that leader has transferred down into the team, and it's all happening and it's all flowing, and to sit back and see that is just it's phenomenal for me.
And the numbers follow as well. That's always something that I've always lived by.
That comes, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. That if you chase money, it runs away from you, but if you enjoy what you do, the money will come. And that's a perfect example, especially down there as well.
I think that goes for everyone in our team. No one's really focused just on money. No. I mean, we all do okay. We're not crying poor, but money's good in a way. But if we solely focus on money, then we actually lose focus on our purpose.
That's right.
And what happens then is that you only start thinking of short-term gains and not the long-term gains. Now, part of being a great leader is the flexibility to adapt, the open to learning, and happy to take feedback, right? Now, a lot of people think, well, that's not a boss, right? But in actual fact, a good boss or a good leader is open to all of those sort of things. How do we convey that message down the line, but at the same time not lose respect from our employees or our team? Jade?
For me, I think it goes back to what you were talking about, Zara, with, just getting in there and doing it as a leader, and, taking a stand and fuck what other people think. And because people are if they have the respect for you, then, and if they're inspired, if you make sure that you are inspiring others, then they'll lead you. They'll follow. Mm-hmm. So I think that's second. I really do think that's a secondary thing that comes by naturally.
Yeah. So I'm open to all of that sort of stuff, and I've seen I've seen bosses in the past where they can't handle feedback. They just crumble. Well, they only want someone to stroke their ego and tell them that they're doing a good job. And what happens to those people, they don't actually grow because they don't know where they're going wrong. And that's why, sometimes it's good to get some negativity in your life. For example, my father was very, very negative to me when I was growing up. But in actual fact, that helped me because he constantly gave me negative feedback to better myself. And I feel like I'm a better man for it. And I think being open to feedback and being open to learn is paramount, because you need to know that you can always learn, and you're a forever student. And a lot of leaders these days, or wannabe leaders, what they do is they pretend they know everything, right? And then when they know everything, then that's when they don't improve. They stop short. They hit a glass ceiling in terms of the knowledge that they acquire, because they think they're right every single time. And those are the same bosses that point the finger and bark orders and all of that sort of stuff. So for you guys that are listening out there tonight, don't be that guy. Yeah. Because what happens is that you will fall down eventually, because like Jade said, the world is evolving at such a rapid rate that people will take you over and they will surpass you. And if you want to continue to grow within this marketplace, you need to have the flexibility to adapt. You need to be open to learning, and you also have to be happy to take feedback, whether that's good or bad. Mm-hmm. Now, we don't have that much time left. Jade, what is your tip, number one tip for our listeners out there who want to become leaders, but they don't feel like they're leaders right now? What can these guys do?
I'm going to go back to what I said earlier on in this podcast, and it's just adopting a growth mindset, an entrepreneurial mindset. What's an entrepreneurial mindset? It's being solutions-based rather than sitting there waiting for other people to solve your problems. Get out there and take the initiative and just build up that initiative on your own accord, and everything else will follow. I think having the growth mindset to make decisions and to be able to get you to that next level. I've always, I spoke to a group of women recently who are stepping up into their very first leadership role. And often that's the biggest, most daunting step of your career, right? You're not going to make a bigger one than that because the gap's huge. And I think you need to sit back and you need to listen to people that have done it and that have made mistakes, and you need to learn from those mistakes. And I think if you aren't taking the feedback on board, if you're not open to criticism and, to change, then you need to really question yourself. Am I in the right career? Am I doing what I love? Because there was a time when I couldn't stand feedback years ago. Yeah. But I was in the wrong job. And
love it.
I didn't realize that until now. I've got my dream career happening. I've got multiple businesses that I'm running. I've got a dream executive career that I really love. And because I'm being challenged every single day, and I don't sit back. I think a lot of people think I want to be a leader because I want to sit back and just, lead and direct. It gets harder. But it's not for everyone, and you've got to really be prepared to get in there and work harder than you've ever worked before.
So persistence, that's a big one. Mark, one last tip for our listeners on how to become a better leader.
We always got to keep in mind all this stuff is not going to happen overnight. You need to adopt the right mindset to begin with, and it's easy to adopt it for one day and then forget about it the next, and that's with anything we do. But not so much just sit back and let it happen, because you can't just sit back and let it happen. You've got to go out there and chase it. But trust the process and learn to withstand the test of time. I have not understood that any more than what I have this year. And even though I was in a business for 5 years, it was only this year that I realised, okay, now I understand what that means. And I guess by being in the property industry, that's almost something you've got to live by. That's why I understand it so much better these days. But, believe in yourself, think the positive thoughts, move forward all the time. Don't give you a chance to, give yourself a chance to look back and just go, semi-doubt yourself. As I said, just trust the process and move forward from there, but it's not going to happen overnight. So be prepared for that to happen.
Fantastic. My final tip would be, take a stance, take a risk, put that first foot forward, be the first one to do it, and don't worry about whatever anyone else has to say about it. Because what will happen is that naturally people will follow, and then you will become a leader. Now, guys, that's all we've got time for tonight. I want to say thank you for Jade for coming in. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Please tell your friends about us, and we will see you next week with Chris and Mark on Thursday night. See you guys.
See ya.
Bye.